Lord, grant me the serenity to understand the things I cannot change. Grant me the courage to change the things that I can. And grant me the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today. Amen. Away from me.
You close to the edge, just don't move. My brother said his lawyer just gave him some bad news. Police found the drugs that were stashed in the bathroom. Not only that, but his court date approaching us fast too. So tell me what to do. Lord, you only seek the truth. If you want to bear fruit, then it needs to abide in you. If you seek transformation, it happens in solitude. Since I never had a shot, God threw me the alley-oop. I believe I can fly. Let me mingle with the angels. Heaven's in my peripheral, I see it from an angle.
What's up, good people? Welcome to the Bro Coach Show. It's your boy, Bro Troy, aka Mr. YM4C, but better known as Coach TJ. Now, this show is sponsored by Papa Murphy's Take and Bake Pizza. Make sure to visit your local Papa Murphy's Pizza retail store near you and load up on fresh, made-to-order, gluten-free take and bake pizzas, desserts, and salads. Make sure to use that mobile app for faster service and to earn additional points. Now, for those who are new to the Bro Coach Show, the Bro Coach Show is a live talk show created to discuss, uncover, justify, and dismantle the issues that concern us most as brothers, as family, and as a community. And we like to give that to you raw, uncut, and real respectful. Now, our greatest desire is to embrace everyone in positive, popular conversation, so no, we're not in the business of bashing or belittling anyone, but we do believe in being comfortable with having uncomfortable conversations. Why? Because that's where understanding starts. So as Grandma would say, let's chew the meat and spit out the bone. Fellas, I think this is about the third time we've sat in these seats, man. Feels good, man. Best is yet to come, man. Talk to me.
You want to give him some nuggets?
Man, I love this, man. So this is, for me, like I said, I've seen you 4 or 5 times this week already. It just seems like since Sunday. But, man, I really love what we're doing, man. It feels good because we talked about this a year ago.
That's it. And we wrote it down.
And we in it now.
To go get it, man. So excited, man. So as the year is being brought to an end, we call ourselves the Bro Code, but that's an individual thing and a collective thing. Now, we know why we do this, but I'd love to hear from you guys. What does that mean to you? How does that hit to you?
Yeah, I mean, for me, you think of bro codes from the ages on, and I don't really look at it like that. I look at it as the way we should treat each other as men and as women, really. I know it says bro code, but it's the code of how we should entertain each other's thoughts. It's the code of how we should respect each other, the code of how we should pass things down to the community and to the children, and learn from each other. And that's why it's a great thing that we're able to spread messages, meeting with individuals such as yourself and all the great guests we've had on the show over the course of the last 18 months to find their story and pass on that wisdom to generations.
Yeah, indeed, man. How about you, Bro Kirk?
It's all centered around respect. Respect of myself, respect of my family, respect of my community. It's respect. And I'm big on no disrespect. Like, that's big to me. I don't get mad much, but don't disrespect me. I'm never going to disrespect you because I don't disrespect people. So I want that same back. So that's my bro code. For sure.
That's big right there, right? We talk about a fist and a finger. I mean, for me, I think it's a fulfilling moment. Being able to be supported and undergirded in ways that oftentimes early on in life I would have never really appreciated or even grasped onto. So to have my bros and to have people who are like-minded that can go chase this thing called purpose, and we do it together. For me, so it's a combination of all that, not just the respect of just ourselves, but now we have the audacity to say, hey man, we want to do a ripple effect and change other places as well. Use this bald head greatness to say, hey, what else can we do? How much bigger can we take it? So that code, that's what it means. Now, we got a guest here, but I know he's probably over here like, man, I want to answer the question. So we're gonna let the people know who you are in a minute. But I'm just curious, when you hear that word, bro code, what does that mean to you in your life?
Man, bro code, I would describe it as just kind of unwritten rules of, man, it's supposed to be love. It's supposed to be mutual respect. It's just, it's just supposed to be how things are supposed to be, or how we're supposed to treat each other, how we're supposed to relate from one another. And I agree, what was said that, it's called bro code, but those same principles and the same mantra applies, across all, all different spectrums, men, women, old, young, it can apply to everybody. And so it's just really, just kind of the unwritten rules of, treat people how you would like to be treated.
That's the golden rule. We're talking about that on Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
That golden rule. Yeah, indeed, man. I definitely can dig it. So, fellas, we always say that greatness is a collective effort, right? And I truly believe that tonight is no different. Tonight we have the chief of police here in Apex, North Carolina. His name is Jason Armstrong. So, Chief, how you feeling today, man? What's going on?
Feel good, man. I feel good, man. Another busy day.
Yeah,
wrapping up another busy day.
For sure. Well, we welcome you to the BroCo platform, man. Glad you're here. So you have a long, extensive resume. We're not going to go through all that, but I want you to look at that camera and tell the people in 90 seconds or less, put some respect on your name.
Okay.
What is your resume?
My resume, 90 seconds. Okay. Jason Armstrong. I am a 20-year law enforcement professional. I started my career by being accepted into a program through the Department of Justice called the Police Corps, coming out of North Carolina Central University, the great North Carolina Central University.
Shout out to the Eagles.
And after completing that program, I started my career in Forest Park, Georgia. Worked my way up through the ranks, patrol officer, special operations, promoted to sergeant, promoted to lieutenant. I was the first black lieutenant in the history of that department, and went on to become the first black captain in that department. Ultimately, working my way up, I was appointed the interim police chief in Forest Park. And so a lot of work that I did in Forest Park was centered around community outreach and engagement, just really trying to build bridges, between the police and the community. And those efforts led me to being appointed the chief of police in Ferguson, Missouri. And so in 2019, I went out to Ferguson, Missouri, and took over there as the police chief for 2 years before coming back home to North Carolina and coming to take the Apex police chief job. And so, that's a little bit about my career. More importantly, my accomplishments, a husband and a father of two. And that's what I hold near and dear to my heart.
Indeed. 90 seconds or less. There we have it.
That was
That was on it, right?
That was perfect.
You need some water? You good?
Hey, I follow directions. We rule followers over
But we
here.
appreciate that's part of the bro code.
There we go.
We appreciate that. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm curious, sir. So you mentioned a few things, and then one of the things you mentioned was North Carolina Central University.
Yes, sir.
From there, going through a program that led you to Forest Park ATL, right? And as a representative of such, my grandparents and my grandmother and my mom, 30034 and 30087, so Stone Mountain and Decatur.
Okay.
So you went from Central here in North Carolina down to the A, and you were there almost 18 years. Now, during that time, music was booming. The early 2000s, the A was taking over. So I have to know, what was your eatery and the music you were listening to in those times? Or producer, because we had it all that time.
Oh yeah.
Eatery. All right, so sticking with Forest Park, man, eatery I would have to go with John's Fine Foods. That was my go-to. Now it's a little bit different because when I first started down there was two of them. They were on the same street. You had John's Fine Food number 1 and John's Fine Food number 2.
Kept it simple, right?
Hey, John kept it simple. And number 1 served breakfast and lunch. Number 2 served lunch and dinner.
I was wondering. I was like, okay.
Yep. And so, but after a few years that I'd been down there, which they had been open for decades, he combined the two because he didn't have a breakfast griddle in number 2. So they finally got one installed, and then they sold the other restaurant.
Makes
and they just served breakfast, lunch, and dinner there. So definitely John's Fine Food was my primary go-to at work. Fox Brothers Barbecue, they're probably the best barbecue in Atlanta. Spine Divot Seafood.
Okay. He going down.
Yeah, man. It was a lot of go-to spots, man. In Atlanta.
You couldn't go wrong, right?
Couldn't go wrong, man.
Sweet
Steakhouse,
tea and
man.
good
Go to
food.
Bone. Bone Steakhouse.
Yeah.
Busy Bee if you wanted the fried chicken. Mary Mac's Tea Room.
Yeah.
We should have put that. We should have put 90 seconds on
On the food,
Took
right?
you back on that one.
Hey, I'm a big guy, man. I got to feed the machine.
What about the music, man? Like, I mean,
The music, man? So that's right. right when Ludacris was really taking off, man.
Yeah.
Little John and Ludacris were the two. So when I came, Outkast was still real relevant, which I mean they legendary, but they weren't out and seen as much. One of the big ones, man, that's when T.I. really started taking off. And so, man, getting to Atlanta, man, I got there when I was 21 years old, man. Really? So, hey, man, if I was off, man, I was out the street somewhere, parties, clubs. And back then, man, T.I. would always be at the clubs with us. Yeah. And if they played one of his songs, man, he would always get up on stage and perform. Really? So not getting paid. No, this was before he became T.I. If he was in the club, his song came on, man, he was going to get up, man, he was going to perform. Man, Pastor Troy, Little John, Jermaine Dupri and all of them, man, especially when Buckhead was booming, with the party scenes and everything, man, you used to see people around all the time.
Oh, man. You brought me back on that one, man. So, speaking of bringing you back, tell me a dope childhood memory. Right, take it back to your childhood, man. What's something that was memorable to you?
Dope childhood memory. Now, I'm going to take it to sports. But it's a different kind of sport. So my family sport growing up was bowling. Was bowling, man. My parents bowled in bowling leagues. Okay. My dad was this big bowler. Like Friday nights, man, we had to bowling alley.
And they serious.
Yeah.
That's real good.
So that was really the first sport that I was exposed to was bowling.
Okay.
And so this is we were in Fayetteville. We were living in Fayetteville at the time. And they had this tournament. They put on this bowling tournament where it was an adult, junior, or kid, tournament. So me and my father were partners in this tournament. And so now you imagine, bowling, it's not a lot of minorities and black people out there bowling, especially back then. So, man, we might have been the only black team out of dozens and dozens. I mean, it might have been 50 to 75 teams in this tournament. We weren't the best bowlers by no means, but we won the whole tournament.
Really?
Wow. And it's funny, we still have the trophy to this day. And whenever I visit my parents' house, it's in the kitchen. Man, the trophy is like a gold trophy, man, like this tall. Yeah. And every time I go in there, man, I just look at it and just think about, like, man, how dope that moment was.
How old were you then?
Man, I had to be 12, 13, maybe.
You have 2 children now, right? Mm-hmm. How many times have they heard that story?
I don't know, because I don't, honestly, now that I'm thinking, like, I don't know if I talk about it when I see it. Like, I think I just kind of look at the trophy and just kind of reminisce.
You light up when you talk about it. That's why I figured that would be one of those stories that you got to make that a deck story. That could be a deck story. But normally, when we probably why I never say anything about it is because when I walk into my parents' house with the kids, they go straight to Papa.
They just push me to the side, and it's all about the kids. And so I just go sit down in my corner and just reminisce with my trophy. And that's it.
You understand Al Bundy stories? I can dig that. Bowling. All right, I never would have guessed that.
Yeah.
Well, let's chew the meat and spit out the bone. What you got, Bro Smith?
Well, you gave a good history of 20 plus years in law enforcement, working for all different counties. I can imagine you've seen all sorts of things, especially perhaps even in Ferguson. Welcome to Apex. We're certainly proud to have you here. You make up one of, we have 6 black police chiefs in North Carolina, I believe is the number. Or if not, just the surrounding counties.
Yeah, so there's more than that. I think, where that number comes from, they're looking at the biggest cities.
That's correct.
The bigger cities. And so, I think I know there's some smaller cities that have black police chiefs. But yes.
Well, tell me and tell our audience, why law enforcement? Like, what was it about the badge that really got to you?
A lot of it for me, I don't come from a family of law enforcement. I'm the first one, and I'm still the only one in my family that's in the profession. And so for me, man, I was intrigued by just the excitement of it. And a lot of that is what I saw in movies. And so, I get asked this question a lot, and people always laugh. And my go-to, man, was Mike Lowry from Bad Boys. Man. That was, hey, man, when I saw those Bad Boy movies, and I was like, man, I could do that, man. And he looked like he having fun doing it.
I'm glad you didn't go back to Lethal Weapons. I was wondering. I was like, how far back is he going to go with this?
No, man. Your mind, which the Lethal Weapon movies are dope.
Okay, don't get me wrong, right?
And they're coming out with another one. I don't know if you've seen that. Yeah, they're doing another one.
Yeah, Mel's going to direct it.
Yep, Mel's going to direct it.
All right, okay.
But yeah, it just, it really, it looked exciting and fun. And just, knowing my personality and how I am, like, especially then, like, I didn't see myself just doing the same thing every day. And that's what, really attracted me to the profession is, man, you don't know what your day is going to hold. Like you just don't know what it is, and so you got to be prepared for anything. And so that really is what did it for me. And here we are, 20 years later, still rocking and rolling.
Yeah. What assignment would you say has matured and equipped you the most over those years?
I would say all of them, because as you grow and as you mature, just in life, period. Man, even your failures are preparing you, and you're growing in those moments. And so, I take a little bit of all of that and just look, over my career and all the experiences that I've had. I can look back and I can appreciate all of them, even the worst ones, because it was something that I needed to experience in that moment, that I felt, God is working something in me. He's building something up in me to be able or to be prepared to deal with something down the road. And so, man, they all have, just really just building blocks, if you will, for what I've needed to get me through, everything that I've experienced in the profession.
Well, we certainly appreciate all of our Facebook listeners, viewers. Like and share this post right now. Tell your mamas about the Bro Code Show. We are live right here in Apex, North Carolina at the police station with Chief of Police Jason Armstrong. Please make sure to go to Bro Code Show, at Bro Code Show, for our Instagram page. Like, share that as well. Keep up with these courageous conversations, as well as go to our YouTube page, Bro Code TV Productions. Like and hit the notification so when this episode comes out, you'll know. We appreciate you. We love you. Continue to follow the Bro Code Show. It's your boy, Bro Troy, a.k.a. Mr. YM4C, better known as Coach TJ, and we are the Bro Code. This show is sponsored by Papa Murphy's Take and Bake Pizza. Make sure to visit your local Papa Murphy's Pizza retail store near you and load up on fresh, made-to-order, gluten-free take and bake pizzas, desserts, and salads. Now make sure to use that mobile app for faster and to earn additional savings. The Bros just got stronger. We've added a new member to the team, A. Ruth Proctor. The blonde bombshell herself will be hosting this new segment called The Proctor Report. This segment will share behind-the-scenes footage and engage questions from our listeners from a female point of view. Tap in to the Bro Code. Stay tuned for a new segment on the Bro Code Show called The Rehash. You'll learn more about the bros personally and what drives them as men and community leaders. The Rehash will be available on YouTube and all audio podcast platforms every Friday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tap in to the Bro Code.
Grant me the courage to change the things that I can, and grant me the wisdom to know the difference, just for today.
Welcome back to the Bro Code Show. We're chopping up in Apex, North Carolina with Chief of Police Jason Armstrong from inside the Apex Police Station. Don't forget to order those fresh, made-to-order, gluten-free Papa Murphy's pizzas. Use the mobile app or order online at papamurphys.com for faster service and to earn additional savings. So, Chief, Bro Smith, Bro Kurt, what you got, man?
Yeah. So, Chief, you went from Georgia straight to Ferguson, Missouri. The Ferguson, Missouri.
The Ferguson,
right?
Yes, sir.
During
The first.
daily topics of police brutality, streets are in uproars with protests. I got to know, what was your motivation for wanting to go into a position in that time, in that city?
My motivation in doing it was because, I truly felt that I could do the job. Being a police chief anywhere is tough. Taking on an assignment like Ferguson, given, Ferguson's history and everything that happened there, a lot of people won't take that job. A lot of people, wouldn't entertain, taking that assignment on. And so, when I went through the process and when I was offered the job and just all of the, the conversation and the thought that went into all right, man, are we going to do this? And I say we because it wasn't just a me decision. Like that was a big family decision, and everybody, had a say in making that decision. But at the end of the day, I felt confident that I could go there and make an impact. And the biggest reason being, man, when you look at, I'm a firm believer, like, man, that you can't completely judge somebody off of their worst day. Okay, like. We just, that's not the best way to look at somebody or treat somebody. So when you take Ferguson, all right, man, clearly Ferguson's worst day was August 9th, 2014. And so in looking at, the community there and taking that day out of the equation, the community there and the police department there, as far as the size of the city, the crime, like everything that I would be responsible and charged with was very similar to my community in Forest Park. Same size, same, demographics, same layout, same location in the metro area, right by the airport, the highways, like all of that stuff was similar. So those are all the things that I was really factoring into, do I really think I could go up there and have some success? And so, going through those things, I felt some semblance of comfort that I could. I knew it was going to be tough. And it was. Make no mistake about it, it was. But I absolutely appreciate the time that we had there, and definitely appreciate the experience.
Yeah. What you got, Kurt?
No, I now reflecting back, now that you're gone, if we were to look back on it, what would have been maybe one major takeaway from your whole experience?
My biggest takeaway from being in Ferguson and what that experience taught me is, man, that you can have success and failures all wrapped up in one beautiful, balloon or what have you. Like they're not mutually exclusive, and that was my biggest takeaway, is learning to process that and to understand that man, you can have successes and failures with the same thing, and you have to be okay with that.
That's right.
And that was my biggest takeaway.
Good stuff. You said something, sir. One, you said it was a family decision, and then you also said that you had to find a way to process. So you talked about that date. That was the worst day for Missouri, and you have a son. Your son, arguably, and please correct me if I'm wrong, was about 12 years young when you made that trip.
Yeah, 12, 13.
Give or take. But
Yeah.
young enough to understand, really the full magnitude of what's going on. So talk to me, how does that look from his lens? What are some of the conversations that you had to have at that time, and even now, because he's almost old enough to drive now, right?
Correct. He's close. Yeah, he's real close.
Right. So talk to me about that.
And so the unfortunate part of it is it's a continual conversation because we continue to see incidents happen, and these things unfold that that spark a lot of the outrage that we see around the country. And so, it's really just having candid conversations with him about it. Just because he's the son of a police chief, that doesn't mean that he's absolved from having to deal with some of those challenges and some of those issues. And I remember, after George Floyd was killed, we partnered with the local school district up in Ferguson because they wanted to do a march and rally. And so they asked me to be one of the speakers at the rally. And so my whole family, was out there at the march. And so, me and my son were just together as we were marching to where the rally was going to be. And we were just talking about all of this stuff. And, all right, man, you watch the video, what do you think about this? And, just throwing scenarios out. And that's a lot of what I do, is when we see some of the things happen, is, I try to use those as teaching moments for them. And, let's watch this video. Did you see this video? Did you see, what happened or what the kid did here or what the officer did? Like, what do you think you would have done in that situation? Or, where do you think your mind would be? Okay, let's talk about that and just try to give him as much information and the tools that I feel confident that if he's in that space, I'm not there. He don't have me to talk to. Will he make the right decisions, and will he do what he needs to do? At the end of the day, all right, man, I just need to make sure that you make it home. Whatever happens, we can address all of that stuff after the fact. Man, we need to make sure that you're making the right decisions and you're doing things the right way, and just try to make sure that he's prepared in the event that he's in a situation where he's having to deal with something that just scares the crap out of him.
Yeah, and those things happen. One of my other concerns is, especially with our children, is those images becoming a normal, where they become immune or numb to death or acts of violence that are done by certain portions of people. What about that conversation? How does that look, not just with your son, but how do we address that? Because 8 minutes and what was it, 46 seconds? 43 seconds, give or take?
Long time.
Long time.
Too long.
Yeah.
Exactly. Talk to me about that.
So I'm certified to teach a curriculum called Law in Your Community. And in teaching that class, and I mostly taught it in Georgia. Being the chief, I really haven't had a lot of time to get out and do some of this stuff. But in Georgia, I taught the class a lot. And normally the audience was normally youth, and normally minority youth. And I would always open up my class with the question is, man, who in here hates the police? And so, man, a lot of hands would go up. Not all of the hands, but a lot of hands would normally go up. But then my follow-up question would be, all right, who in here hates the police because of an experience that you had with the police? And then it was almost routine. About half the hands would go down.
Right.
And so half the people in that room that raised their hand had not had their own personal negative experience with the police officer. They were going off of, like you said, what they have access to, what they're exposed to, or somebody, family or friends, their negative experiences and what they've said and portrayed about it, which, I get it and I understand it, but let's talk about it, because on the flip side of that, and I always try to bring things back and put them in perspective where, all right, if it's a room of whoever, and we want to say, all right, well, how many people, don't like, this demographic, or you don't like this religion or what have you. And okay, well, you don't like it, but who has had a negative experience? Like, man, we all can fall victim to that mindset of just, man, the traumas of others being projected onto us, and then, that formulates our ideas and things about stuff. And so, it's always just trying to have that conversation to get people to understand, I'm not excusing how you feel. And, I'm not saying there's anything wrong for you to feel how you feel, but I always encourage people, if you haven't had any experience, with whoever, and so let's say we're talking about police officers, try to go have a conversation with one and see, see if you think you may feel better. When I was in Ferguson, I met with a bunch of youth, and a lot of them, same thing, man. They weren't very fine in law enforcement, so I gave all of them my business card. Gave all of my business card, and I told them, I said, now look, man, I'm sending out an email to my entire department and let them know that, hey, I just gave out a bunch of my business cards to a bunch of kids. And I encourage them to walk up to one of our officers and have a conversation with them. Even if you just say, hey, your chief gave me this card, and give it back to him, take off and run off. and so, just let the officers know there may be some kids coming up to you. And I'm like, hey, write your name on the card, and if it gets back to me, man, I'll come find you and give you, just trying to encourage, man, just try to have a conversation. Right. Yeah, just try. Despite all your fears and just what you think about it, just try. And if we can push more people to try that, like you said, get comfortable with being uncomfortable from all sides of things. Man, I think we have a chance to see some better outcomes, and increase some more positive relationships.
Yeah, awesome, man, awesome. Well, you are just checking in with the Bro Code Show. We are live here in Apex, North Carolina with Chief of Police Jason Armstrong. We're going to take a real quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. This show is sponsored by Papa Murphy's Take and Bake Pizza. Make sure to visit your local Papa Murphy's Pizza retail store near you and load up on fresh, made-to-order, gluten-free take and bake pizzas, desserts, and salads. Now make sure to use that mobile app for faster and to earn additional savings.
Yeah. When I'm gone. Who gets your love?
Bello on the beat.
To leave a legacy is bottom line. Missions only designed to recoup distorted times. If every step is important, I pray you order mine. The marathon continues till I reach the borderline.
Welcome back to the Bro Code Show. We are right here in Apex, North Carolina with Chief of Police Jason Armstrong. What you got, Bro Smith?
Chief, I'm glad you brought up the beauty of the need for the conversation. One of the things that our nonprofit organization had become accustomed to was having a series of barbershop rap sessions where we would invite police officers, the community, and our youth to try to bridge that gap. It was also a little bit of the impetus of why we started this show. It was right on the heels of George Floyd's death. We were looking for an outlet, and some of our first conversations were centered around the talk and centered around the relationship of being a black police officer but also needing to be a police officer. So being a black man and a police officer and having to toe that line, so to speak. So I'm curious, how do you toe that line? Are you seen differently when you're in different communities or amongst your family between having the shield and not having the shield?
Tough question. So first, I'll talk about, you say towing the line, and I truly try not to look at it that way as far as me having to toe a line, because I really try to put myself in a mindset and come from a place of, like, there shouldn't be a division there. I know it exists, but, I'm trying to condition myself that there's not one there. And because, all right, man, I've been a police officer for 20 years, but, man, I've been a minority my entire life, okay? And so, there is no separating of that. Now, there are definitely some challenges that come along with it where, sometimes people have an expectation of what they're going to get from you because you are a minority in the uniform. Sometimes you get attacked because you are a minority in uniform. When I say get attacked, I'm talking about verbally, not necessarily, physically, but, being in Ferguson and all of the unrest and protests and stuff, that we dealt with up there, especially after George Floyd was killed, and just, just the verbal attack that I would get, just because I was a minority wearing a uniform. And it's, I can't say the things back to them that they saying to me, okay?
Not allowed, right?
But the disheartening part in that, when you sit back and look at it, and you think it's like, if I wasn't in this position, if I wasn't in this uniform, man, who would be here in my place? And who would be, at the table trying to bring about some of the change and trying to make positive changes, in the profession and different things like that. And so I really look at it from a place of, there's a responsibility that comes along with it. Even me coming back to North Carolina, we're here in Wake County. Like, all right, I'm the only black male police chief, for a municipality here in the county. And so, all right, man, if not me, then who? And sometimes it is awkward, with family members and different things because of how they feel. And I always encourage them, like, I'm always open for a conversation, just like this conversation that we're having right here, right now. And if it's something, that anybody wants to talk about, hey, man, let's sit down, let's chop it up and try to get to the bottom of things. And that's, that's just what comes with, with choosing this profession and achieving, the heights that I've achieved with it. It's just, the responsibility of, if it's not me, then who is it going to be?
That's a great way to look at it.
Yeah, I love those words too. Responsibility. We always talk about accountability as well.
Yeah.
And send me, Lord.
Yeah.
That's a servant leader. Right?
Yes, sir.
Sacrificial. Right? If
Yes.
not me, who?
I like that.
I could dig that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
like
If not me, who? Yeah, bro, Kurt, what you got, man?
Yeah, so while you were in Georgia as a interim chief, you implemented a type of policing called 21st century policing, which is community-based policing. I actually heard you speak about it at a barbershop in Cary when you came to speak on it. And
Yes,
I was
sir.
like, wait a minute. It hit different when you talked about it. And so can you speak to us more about the impact that that type of community policing has on building those bridges you spoke of earlier?
Absolutely. So, there's 6 pillars that came out of, this project that President Obama, put together a task force to spearhead and do the work. And just trying to identify, like, all right, in today's world, like, what is needed from police departments nationwide. And it wasn't just police officers on this panel. I mean, there was people from all walks and all different backgrounds. And the number one thing that jumped out to me, stood out to me about those principles is a concept called procedural justice. Okay. And when we talk about procedural justice, people come up with all these fancy words, and we want to, name this, and then it's just bare bones simple. And the primary concepts of it are: be fair to people, give people a voice. Give people a voice. And in my experiences, I can't express, how impactful that part has been. Being a police chief, if somebody has a problem with something, you're the person that they call. And so if a police officer upsets somebody, if the dispatcher on the phone, upset somebody, they're all calling the police chief. But the overwhelming majority of those people, man, when they call to talk to me, is I just sit and listen. And the fact that they have somebody that's willing to listen to them, I'm not trying to make excuses for what happened or anything. I'm just genuinely listening to what they have to say, has oftentimes the biggest impact on how they feel and what their takeaways are from that experience. Right. And so when we talk about procedural justice, it's like, man, we can handle crime, or we can handle, people's, just the issues that they deal with in life the exact same way. Whereas when we show up somewhere, instead of, okay, well, just tell me who did what, okay, all right, I'm just going to lock this person up. Hey, man, we take time, okay, man, hey, come in, let's talk, man, give me your side of the story. Like, man, what happened here? Right. All right, man, you were involved in this. Okay, tell me what happened with this. And we take the time to actually listen to people. Even if it's somebody that we have to arrest and put in handcuffs or something, like, they often feel a little bit better about that experience because at least they gave me a chance to tell my side of the story. Right. And if we take the time to explain things to them and communicate with them, like, okay, well, this happened and we got evidence of this or what have you, and just it's just a bare bones of communicating with people. And what we've seen time in and time out is if we can get better at doing that, and if we are intentional about doing that, then we see better outcomes, and we're able to build better relationships. And even in the most, just dire situations, if we have that fundamental where we're willing to listen to somebody and genuinely listen, not just, it's not checking the box, but really listen to what they have to say, and give them a chance to just express whatever it is that they feel that they need to express to us, man, we'll have better outcomes in our communities. And that's really what it's about.
Yeah, that's huge. Yeah. Like you said, a mouthful, right? We could drop the mic right there. Listening is a skill, sir. We talk about that all the time, and I'm sure you've heard this before. Oftentimes, we listen just so we can respond.
Listen to interrupt. That's the opposite of listening.
Just not to understand.
Waiting to interrupt. Right? Yes.
And really processing the information. It's a skill that I learned more frequently in marriage.
Yes.
But nonetheless, man, you're absolutely right. And setting the stage where they feel comfortable to do such, right? Most people just want to be heard.
Yeah.
Right? They want to be heard. So you said something interesting, because a lot of that conversation happened in a place called a barbershop. Bro Smith asked a great question. Bro Kurt followed up. And the work that you do, I think it's called Cops and Barbershops, when you were in Forest Park,
Georgia, yes.
in Georgia, right? In Forest Park. And we've seen that around here as well, more frequently, even with the work that we do with the kids with YM4C. And we use that as a way to set a platform for them to be heard, for them to have an opportunity to bridge that gap and not allow their first experience to be on the side of the road.
Yes.
But over conversation, and we use the barbershop because we could talk about anything at the barbershop.
Absolutely.
It's an organic conversation. We've had the pleasure of doing that. BC, we say that before COVID, right?
Gotcha.
So BC, we had the pleasure of before COVID doing that 39 times throughout 20 different barbershops here in the RDU area and surrounding areas. Oftentimes, but some of them having almost 60 people there, not just children, but adults, every law enforcement unit in the RDU area, foster care and concerned parents. So, some of the conversations that we've had the pleasure of talking about are respect, the thin line between confidence and arrogance, as well as partnering with other organizations such as NAMI, right, to talk about that mental health, suicide, how it affects our children, and even social media and those barriers. But we've always been blessed to have a presence, always of some type of law enforcement, even Wake County Sheriff's Department. What has that difference maker been when you were in Georgia? How long did you do that, and what was the impact that was made because of that effort?
Man, it was an amazing impact, and we did it for several months, and it was not very long after we started doing that is when I got the position in Ferguson, and I went up there. But so for me, the most impactful part of it, man, there was a resident in Forest Park named Willie Finch.
Okay, this is a story right here.
Yeah.
Willie had something hang out his mouth. He had that A-Town hat on sideways.
Willie was a farmer.
Yeah.
Man, he had his crops and stuff, his little field and things, and he came to the first one that we did. He showed up at the first one that we did. And so the next council meeting that we had, man, Willie signed up for the public comment section of the council meeting. Man, Willie is probably in his 80s, 70s or 80s. And he walked up at the council meeting during public comment, and he said, hey, man, I just want to thank, man, the police department for having that session. He said, man, that was long overdue. Like, man, it was amazing. I've never seen anything like that. Man, my hat's off to you all for doing something like that. That's what we need to make things better in this community. And so it's things like that, man, where you get the validation of, okay, like, man, it's just trying something, and it can have that kind of an impact. And so man, we absolutely, man, saw the benefit of it, and something that we'll continue up here, absolutely.
I love it. So if you're just checking in, we're here at the Bro Code Show in Apex, North Carolina, with Chief of Police Jason Armstrong. Well, Jason, we've asked you a lot of questions, brother. We appreciate you. Hopefully you've had a great experience here with the Bro Code.
Yes,
We
sir.
bonehead greatness for real. Like everybody. Every now and again it happens that way. Well, all fours will be up here, man. I love it. But we have a segment. All right? This segment here is called Flip the Script.
Okay.
Right? In this segment here, you get a chance to ask us anything you like, whether that be individually or collectively. So mic is yours.
Anything that I like. If you guys weren't doing this right here, what would you be doing?
You're more welcome to go first. Yeah, you're more than welcome.
Hey, go ahead, take this.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
You know what? If I wasn't doing this, it would still be something working with kids.
Okay.
Like, I've tried to try other things, and I just can't do it. Like, I know the need. I remember how I felt. I remember just maybe needing one person to be in that space. Like you said, if I wasn't here, who would be?
Yeah.
Same thing. So something to do with kids. I'm not sure what it would be, but teaching. I thought about being a teacher, but it's a tough job right now. But something in that manner.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Man, I was going to take that answer.
Teaching.
That's okay.
No,
We
no,
need more
I mean,
teachers. Right?
No, not teaching, but doing something with kids, but or trying to relive my childhood, doing something, video games, something that's.
You want to be a rapper?
I will throw a little state to state. Seriously, yeah, I would. I could envision myself kind of getting more into hobbies. Trying to teach myself how to play the guitar and relearn the piano and kind of getting it back into that sort of creative side of my brain a little bit more. But I still feel like I'd find some sort of way to pass some of that on and engage with the youth in some capacity.
Purpose-driven lifestyle. So again, I think I agree would be something in that. But before I started doing this, one of the things that God used to equip me to do what I do now is at a very early age, I was able to travel the world. I did it through a blue-collar job called MSC, Military Sealift Command. And before I was 25, I had beat up a passport.
Okay.
It was stamped up. And I reflect on it now. I was in the moment, the same way that you were 21 in Atlanta when music was pumping and you had all those eateries, and that glow that you got is how I feel when I was that age and being able to travel the world exclusively and make decent money doing it. I would do something like that. I've always appreciated being a mover and a shaker, just waking up somewhere new. If I need new clothes, all right, cool, I'll buy them when I get there. That's just who I am. I appreciate that lifestyle. So I do believe that mentoring or teaching, like giving wisdom back to someone else, would be part of that. It just so happened later on in my life I found the purpose through the burden of children. So it would definitely be some type of world travel.
Good stuff.
Indeed. Is that the only question?
Yeah,
Is that one? That's all you had?
Hey, that was. It took y'all a while to work your way through that. So
That was a good one, though.
That
was
good.
Yeah, because we walk in this every day. It's a lifestyle, and we talk about this all the time, sir. We walk in this every day. So now At 41 years young, reflecting on, I mean, what else would you do now? I don't know. Like, I really don't. Like, I'm really enjoying the space that I'm in, and being a servant leader and being able to be a light, you know, and really live what we speak, you know, every day. I think that's dope. So anyway, if you're just checking in with the Bro Coach Show, we are right here in Apex, North Carolina with Chief of Police Jason Armstrong. And we're live in here in the police station. Oh, please don't forget to order those fresh made-to-order gluten-free Papa Murphy's pizzas. Use the mobile app or order online at papamurphys.com for faster service and to earn additional savings. We'll be right back. This show is sponsored by Papa Murphy's Take and Bake Pizza. Make sure to visit your local Papa Murphy's Pizza retail store near you and load up on fresh made-to-order gluten-free Take and Bake pizzas, desserts, and salads. Now make sure to use that mobile app for faster and to earn additional savings. The Bros just got stronger. We've added a new member to the team, A. Ruth Proctor. The blonde bombshell herself will be hosting this new segment called The Proctor Report. This segment will share behind-the-scenes footage and engage questions from our listeners from a female point of view. Tap in to the Bro Code. Stay tuned for a new segment on the Bro Code Show called The Rehash. You'll learn more about the bros personally and what drives them as men and community leaders. The Rehash will be available on YouTube and all audio podcast platforms every Friday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tap in to the Bro Code. Bro Code Show.
Now we don't want to zoom past our partnersip.
Oh yeah, we got to talk about that, man. Partnerships and relationships are key, right? We talk about a fist, not a finger. We can do more with more. Yeah. We can do more collectively together. So clearly, we got to shout out our sponsors, Papa Murphy's Pizza. We appreciate the relationship, continue the relationship. They understand the value of not just partnerships, but voice and amplifying that in a spirit of excellence, and we do that very well here on the Bro Code Show. For those that may want to connect with the Bro Code Show, talk about those partnerships, how we can market your brand, your idea, your vision, and your business, please connect with us at 919-714-9905 or go to @BroCodeShow on Instagram. We look forward to what's next. It's your boy, Bro Troy,
Bro Smith,
Bro Kurt,
and we are the Bro Code.
We all we got.
Grant me the courage to change the things that I can, and grant me the wisdom to know the difference, just for today. Amen.
Welcome back to the Bro Code Show. We are right here in Apex, North Carolina with Chief of Police Jason Armstrong. So Chief, we're going to have some fun. You know, you're on social media, and we did a little research.
All right.
We went perusing through the photos. Now, you've already shared these photos, sir, with the world, but there's a few of them that we thought were pretty dope. And
Okay.
we would love to get your reaction. We're going to show you the photo. You tell us who's in it, what was the moment, and why was it important to you to share it with the world. We're going to start with the first one. Oh, you got it right? I think you got it. Yeah, we're going to start with that one.
All right, man. This is me and my son at the taping of a show called The Dunk King. So it's pretty much a dunk contest.
Okay.
And the judges for the dunk contest, Kenny Smith, Shaq, Barkley, because they did the Inside the NBA TNT show, and they filmed this in Forest Park. And so what was cool about it was, you know, man, my coworkers, they were working, so I got the best seats.
Yeah.
And so so we were right in front of the camera.
Yeah.
And so, man, every time there was a cool dunk and you could see the reaction, man, when the show aired, man, you just kept seeing, you just kept seeing me and my son up there because we were right, you know, we were right lined up in the middle.
Wow.
So yeah, that's what that one was.
That is awesome. How old was he at that time?
Oh man, he was probably 7, 8.
As a kid, man, I know he was.
Now, a follow-up to that real quick, and this part didn't go so well. So it was him and his cousin that they were, you know, just a couple years apart. So when we got home that evening, man, we had a little inside basketball hoop on the door. And these jokers was trying to dunks.
Do the same.
And so man, his cousin's little sister, they tried to jump over her because they saw the guys jumping over people and jumping over, and that didn't go well. Yeah.
Oh man,
I'm gonna have to go back to YouTube and try to find
that. Right? Yeah, that was 2007.
Nah, it didn't seem that long ago.
That wasn't that long ago. They've only been 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, maybe about 4 or 5 years ago.
About 18, 19.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I'm sure that's a memorable experience. He'll never forget that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let's go to that second one.
Second one, man, I was scuba diving off the coast of Cartagena, Colombia.
Wow. That's a good trip.
Man, scuba diving was always on my bucket list. Like I just wanted to do it, just experience it one time.
Yeah.
And after having done it, I would never do it again. It's terrifying being down there. And so, you see the picture, you see people all around me. I was very strategic in where I swam because if something came to get us, they would have to go through other people before it would get to me. And so yeah, man. But definitely, got to check that off my bucket list.
Yeah. I see. He's like, all right, take this picture. I'm ready to ride. I'm out of here. I can do that. How about that last one? Talk to us about that. That right there looks like a Fred Flintstone moment.
Yeah, that's big.
Man, tomahawk steak. Tomahawk steak.
Wow.
Man, it's a tomahawk steak, man. That's the biggest thing that you're going to find. And so, man, I don't think I ate all day. Because, I wanted to make sure that I could finish, the steak. And I finished all of it. This was at Gordon Ramsay's restaurant in Vegas. Side note, for anybody watching this, if you go to a steak restaurant, Gordon Ramsay steak restaurant in a Paris hotel, get the sticky toffee pudding dessert. The best thing that will ever touch your lips. The sticky toffee pudding. Trust me.
Shout out to Chef Ramsay right here on the Bro Code Show.
Trust me.
What is it called? We need
the sticky toffee pudding.
Sticky
toffee pudding.
Right here on the Bro Code Show. Chef Ramsay.
Yeah.
Best dessert you will ever have in your life.
Please bring us to Vegas. We'd love to do the show right at the Paris Hotel, Chef.
Oh, yeah, put that in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Indeed. Wow. Okay. Tomahawk. You finished this thing too.
Absolutely.
This thing's big.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow. That's all right.
Now, I'll probably finish them later, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was done. I was out for the count.
I was sure.
That minute.
Yeah, that was the last thing for the night.
Yeah. I was done. But I cleaned the plate, though.
Yeah, that's good. That's good stuff, sir. Well, we've had a great time, man. Have you had a good time on the Bro Code Show? You enjoyed the experience?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Awesome, man. This is one of our last segments. It's called Calling Them Out. Now, we need you to look at that camera there, and we need two dope people, two awesome individuals that are doing great things in life, in the community, and just putting great vibes in the world that would love to have a Bro Code experience.
Two people. All right, so I'm going to take this back to North Carolina Central and some of my North Carolina Central folks. So first I will call out Chief Patrice Andrews, the new Durham police chief, getting sworn in next week. And I'm going to go with Marcus Johnson, one of my teammates from North Carolina Central, who's the head basketball coach at St. Augustine University in Raleigh.
All right, you heard it right here on the Bro Code Show. Chief of Police Mooresville getting ready to be sworn in soon. Patrice Andrews, we need you here on the Bro Code Show. And Marcus Johnson.
That's
my brother's name. I'm a Johnson. Marcus is my brother's name. But Marcus Johnson, head basketball coach at St. Aug.
St. Aug head basketball coach.
We need you right here on the Bro Code Show. You heard it first. Well, Chief, we appreciate you, man. We've had an awesome time. They always say you should give people their flowers while they're still here. So on the Bro Code Show, that's part of the code, man. So we got something special for you. Earlier, I asked you, man, if you can use one word to describe yourself or encourage yourself, what would it be? And you told me worthy. And we always talk about this. Oftentimes, people don't feel that. Right? That's part of the gap. Right? So, Bro Kurt, what you got, man?
Yeah, man. Customary on the Bro Code Show to hand out a You Matter $2 bill, right?
Okay.
We got yours right here. It says You Matter, and it says Chief Armstrong on the front. On the back, we have your worthy word. And this is something we don't want you to ever spin, just to always have and remember your experience on our show.
I appreciate it.
Pass that right over to you.
Awesome, sir. There you go, man.
Thank you, sir.
We got something else, though. You know, our sponsor, Papa Murphy's Pizza, makes sure that we're always equipped with fresh gluten-free opportunities to get pizza from Papa Murphy's. And here I have about 60 cards.
Oh, yeah. What size?
Stacks
What
on
size?
deck. Yeah.
Size large?
Yeah, absolutely. So we want to, on behalf of the Bro Code Show and Papa Murphy, celebrate Apex Police Department as a small token of love, right?
Okay.
Of appreciation, that voice that you talk about. So we want you guys to take, each one of your officers to take one of these cards to the Papa Murphy's Pizza here in Apex, North Carolina. I believe it's about 0.8 miles from here.
Yep, not
That'd
far
be
at
a
all.
great walk, you know, that would promote some steps.
There you go.
But if all of your officers could, when you get there, make sure you just take a picture and put hashtag Bro Code Show. We would greatly appreciate that. So on behalf of the Bro Code Show, we appreciate you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Absolutely,
man. I appreciate
man.
it.
Absolutely. So we talked about a whole lot, man, and at the end of the day, we're all about positive vibes. So we end the show the same way every time.
Okay.
Right? With a little bit of positive vibes. Earlier in the conversation, we talked about what that bro code means to us. One of the things that the gentlemen or the fellows always talk about, not just amongst ourselves, but with the adults and the children that we mentor and encourage in the community, is called affirmations.
Okay.
I wrote a few of them, and they start with I am. So this one's going to be no different. I am building an empire, finding myself, healing myself, loving myself, being passionate, getting fit, growing friends, meeting new people, and making new memories. It's your boy, Bro Troy, a.k.a. Mr. YM4C, and we are the Bro Code.
On the corner where the thugs be, and Rock said, be careful when the world start to love me. I've been getting recognition, a lot I'm starting to work.
For tomorrow, if you ain't promised today, or could you walk on water if you don't stand on faith? It's like I'm going through circles, I'm in that same old place. I see you closing the curtains, but I got something to say. I got something to say. Stand up, mean I just don't get it, as if they can't see you making the way. City lights, what up? He's preparing the way. City lights, what up? How could you live for tomorrow if you ain't promised today? Or could you walk on water if you don't stand on faith? It's like I'm going through circles, I'm in that same old place.
This show is sponsored by Papa Murphy's Take and Bake Pizza. Make sure to visit your local Papa Murphy's Pizza retail store near you and load up on fresh, made-to-order, gluten-free Take and Bake pizzas, desserts, and salads. Now make sure to use that mobile app for faster and to earn additional savings. The Bros just got stronger. We've added a new member to the team, A. Ruth Proctor. The blonde bombshell herself will be hosting this new segment called The Proctor Report. This segment will share behind-the-scenes footage and engage questions from our listeners from a female point of view. Tap in to the Bro Code. Stay tuned for a new segment on the Bro Code Show called The Rehash. You'll learn more about the bros personally and what drives them as men and community leaders. The Rehash will be available on YouTube and all audio podcast platforms every Friday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tap in to the Bro Code. Bro Code Show.
Now we don't want to zoom past our partnerships.
Oh yeah, we got to talk
Argue,
about that,
right?
man. Partnerships and relationships are key.
Right.
We talk about a fist, not a finger. We can do more with more.
Yeah.
We can do more collectively together. So clearly, we got to shout out our sponsors, Papa Murphy's Pizza. We appreciate the relationship, continue the relationship. They understand the value of not just partnerships, but voice and amplifying that in a spirit of excellence, and we do that very well here on the Bro Code Show. For those that may want to connect with the Bro Code Show, talk about those partnerships, how we can market your brand, your idea, your vision, and your business, please connect with us at 919-714-9905 or go to @BroCodeShow on Instagram. We look forward to what's next. It's your boy, Bro Troy.
Bro Smith.
Bro Kurt.
And we are the Bro Code.
We all we